Hey, welcome to the third installment of MK Partners Let's Build series. We are once again jumping into the construction of our field mapping tool that we brainstormed in episode 1 and started working on in episode 2. This time we're going to take a look at some of our progress, work through the Trello board a little bit more, and keep this thing going. So let's start off with some introductions. Again, I'm Chris from MK Partners, marketing and video content guy, and we can just run down the list introducing ourselves.
I'm Tracy. I'm a Salesforce consultant at MK Partners.
I'm Tom. I'm a developer here at MK Partners.
Luigi, I'm also a developer here at MK.
And I'm Matt. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer here at MK Partners.
Cool. Thanks all of you guys for joining, and thanks for everybody watching as well. I think to start off, we'll just jump right back into our Trello board, take a look at the progress that we've made so far. And let's see, I should probably zoom in a little bit on this so we can see it a little bit larger on the screen. As you can see, that left-hand column, that was our list of to-dos. Everything started there. Items, cards that were tagged with green are ones that we want for our minimum viable product. So we have quite a bit in the works already. Everything else over here is, stuff that will get added in later once we have our MVP done. And I think last time we added the blue color for MVP plus. So once we do have the minimum viable product, adding those onboardings and on-screen trainings will be something that we tackle maybe before we get into additional functionality. I think probably the best way to go, we'll just keep running down the list here. So last time we talked about icons, and Matt, you couldn't join us, but we ended up sort of settling on this for the icon and this for the App Exchange logo. There were a few different options, but this was sort of the most straightforward way to illustrate how we envision the tool working and provide some visual cues about what you're getting yourself into. So I will go ahead and attach that here and then drag it into the review stage. And for name, we were sort of torn between field mapper and field snapper. I think we settled on field mapper.
I thought it was snapper.
No, we settled on snapper. That's right. Yeah, you're right. It was on snapper this morning and I switched it because I was like, I thought we settled that, but you're right. We settled on field snapper because of the turtle and because the body of the App Exchange listing is going to contain field mapping and map and all of that enough that we don't need to throw it in the title, I think. So, but Matt, since you missed last time, any notes on that one way or the other?
I like it.
Okay. Cool. And then, yeah. I think what I'm most excited about seeing is, Tom, if you were able to come up with any sort of mock-up or a demonstration of what the lines and the drag and drop functionality looks like inside of Salesforce. I think it'd be awesome to take a look at that.
Right. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. You can go ahead and put it on there. Send a request, Chris.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Ooh, Inception.
All right. So yeah, we talked about Tracy provided us with like a mock-up draft of what she envisioned the initial layout or basic UI to be with the lines and how we connect the from object to the to object. So I went ahead during the weekend, took this mock-up, this design that Tracy built out for us, or the concept, and tried to apply it just to see if we could implement it in Salesforce. And basically, within a Lightning component, played around with the drag and drop, and we got a basic demo. I don't have the other details that are added on this mockup, but basic functionality for the drag and drop is basically what we're trying to demo here. So here's just a demo screen where we have a Lightning component here with the two. This will be the to object. I mean, this will be the from object. This will be the to object. Right now we just have test values, but basically just wanted to build out and see if we could implement the drag and drop functionality that Tracy envisioned. So basically we have it built out where you can drag from the left to the right, and we draw that line just like the mock-up has here. I know we talked about doing maybe fancier lines or whatnot, but for now, for the MVP, I think we'll stick to just the straight lines. They also have indicators with check marks, basically letting the user know, in addition to the line, that they have been mapped. And I think we discussed it previously too. We have the ability to map a field on the left to more than one field on the right, so to multiple fields. So to demo that here, we can do that example there. But ideally, right, on the from object or the to object, you're only able to have one mapping since it's only able to have one value. And I think another thing Tracy mentioned was when we map a new field. So like if I put test1 to this already mapped drop zone 2, it'll go ahead and just override it. I know we had discussions on that, and we'll probably have to implement more logic in the future to address having to clear it first if we wanted to do that route or whatnot. But right now, it's just going to do a full override of the existing value. Just replace it on drop. So this is kind of a basic build out of that drag and drop functionality. So I think it's just building a proof that we can implement this idea. So yeah, that's kind of where this demo is at right now, and open to hear you guys' feedback and your thoughts on that.
It's amazing, Tom. You did such a good job. Like, I'm really impressed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, it looks exactly how I imagined it would based on everything we talked about. But I can't believe how like smooth it is, and the fact that it, like, I'm sure it took a lot behind the scenes, but it definitely seems like nice and easy and simple to understand. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that it looks like Salesforce. So, you know, if we're doing this from within Salesforce, it's an easy transition for someone they don't have to learn like a new tool. And then I really like the little contextual clues there, like the green check boxes and the pencil, which also is very Salesforce-like.
Right. And I think we mentioned that too in an earlier meeting when we were discussing the icons and the tools that we would use. I think Chris mentioned it. And we went ahead and just used the built-in Salesforce icons, the utility icons that they have, so it maintains that look and feel like Matt mentioned. So users won't be shocked by anything. It'll be a lot of icons and kind of the styling that they're used to within Lightning, Salesforce Lightning. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it's definitely like easier to look at than the Excel spreadsheet that was, here's the to field, here's the from field, here's the object name, here's the...
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess that's the main goal that we're going for with Tracy mentioned, right? To simplify things. This way you have all your fields laid out for you and you can just drag and drop and not have to worry about spelling field names correctly or API names.
So true.
Yeah, and I feel like you in your little demonstration there, you walked through like 3 or 4 different features that we had discussed that I don't think I expected this early on, where it's like, oh, and I also was able to get it to override the relationship, and so you just drag and drop to make a new one, and like having one record or one object tied to like multiple on the other side. What's the use case for that?
For which one? For this case here?
For like that, like having one go to many, one on the left go to many on the right.
So I can kind of speak to that. So if you want to, let's say you have a field you want to combine like a first name and last name to be like one name, you'd have the first name and last name going to like one field name on the other side.
Okay, I think, but that would be multiple on the left going to the same on the right, which I think Tom said we can't do yet.
I got it backwards, sorry. Tom?
I know that when we're migrating data from like one system to another, we often want to have like a unique ID or external ID. And often for people, that's actually their email address. So, but the standard email field in Salesforce is not unique, meaning that you can put duplicates in there across different records. So often we'll create an additional field that's like a custom field and mark that as a unique field so you can't put duplicates across multiple records. And so this would allow us to move the email field on the left-hand side into multiple fields on the right-hand side, one of which would be the standard and another might be a custom.
Okay, cool.
So I could definitely use that a lot.
Yeah. And I guess if you also, like, there's probably physical addresses that you'd want to do that too. If you had a service address for a client where you're doing the actual work and it's the same as their billing address, then you could just drag that to apply it to multiple records at once or objects at once.
Right.
Yeah, and I know in some of the vertical templates, like the one for nonprofits or even Health Cloud or Financial Services Cloud, often there's like a primary phone field, so that there's like a separate field for the primary phone, but there's still the home phone, mobile phone, work phone situation. So this would allow us to map that one phone number to multiple fields on the other side also.
Cool. And so looking at it, like, it's great. I am kind of curious, once everything's all connected, how hard it is to tell which green lines are going where. I know we had talked at some point last week, I think, about maybe different colors to try to like make it more visually obvious initially what's connected to what. Are the lines green because that's what Salesforce defaults to, or is it something that we could say, the first line should be green, the second line should be blue, and mix it up like that?
We could if we choose to go that route. Yeah, right now it's just I just selected the color, so it's in the CSS and the styling. So basically, we could create any color line or checkbox that we want. I guess we can input.
I
reminds
think a rainbow mode would yeah, sorry, Tracy. I think a rainbow mode would be a cool Easter egg.
Yeah.
But realistically, like, the number of fields that could be on the screen, we're talking about hundreds. And so at some point it's going to have to repeat. We're not going to be able to use all unique shades, I think. But go ahead, Tracy.
Right.
I was just making a joke that video we watched about they wanted the red lines, but they wanted it green. That kind of reminds me of like, can we have these green lines red?
Yeah. 3 red lines with green ink.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. And so I'll throw my screen back up there for the Trello board. Yeah, so that's the drag and drop field relationships and the draw lines connecting fields. I don't know. What should we add, like a screenshot maybe of what you showed, Tom, to the cards, or?
Sure. Yeah, I can go ahead and add a screenshot.
Okay, cool. I'll add some screenshots to the name and icon and then move them over here to review. And then it looks like, with the top done, the only thing standing in between us and MVP is going to be the ability to export to a metadata file and then that cog to see more details. So how do those look in terms of time and effort necessary to get them built out?
So I think, Tracy, when we had said metadata, we're talking about storing it in custom metadata, which is an area inside setup. And so we already have code that can save to custom metadata. So we can take that existing code that we've used on multiple projects, put that into here, and then that will allow us to kind of take a shortcut rather than having to start from scratch. So hopefully we should have that ready for our next video.
Awesome. These cards. And I don't know that we ever actually came up with a review process. So I think we're all just kind of agreeing on these calls that things are approved. Does that seem fair? Is there anybody that you guys think we should loop in to give all of this a once over? Or should we present everything that's ready for review at a company meeting and let everybody vote, or just finish it and tell them it's done?
I say we finish the MVP and then we can present it as a whole.
Okay. So I'm going to move name, drag and drop in there. Draw lines connecting fields. I will add a screenshot for the icon.
It's exciting how much work we've got done already.
Yeah, that's super impressive, Tom. How long did that take?
Well, worked on it throughout the week. Matt had built out a lot of the drag and drop functionality, so I built off of that and added the lines and made sure that everything lined up and they're being drawn to the correct place on the screen and connecting the right mappings. So yeah, we spent a good time on it throughout the week, and I think that now that we have that, that's a lot of the functionality that we have to build out. So we'll probably be able to address the other items on our list and get this MVP built out, hopefully in the upcoming weeks pretty soon.
Awesome. And then, yeah, once we're done, I think we, roll the MVP out at a company meeting and then enlist everybody else's help for our end user testing, see if they can use it on some of their projects or in their orgs, and then we'll get the good feedback we need in terms of like any bugs or troubleshooting. But I don't know, it seems simple and effective to me.
Good plan.
Cool. And now the least important thing to update, our turtle drawing.
Well, the most important, you mean?
We've made a little progress. I need to do some more looking at turtles to figure out what makes their shells look the way they do, because they don't look like that. But I'm trying to figure out a way to hide a little MK in there in his shell cells.
Nice.
So hopefully we'll get closer to that and then figure out a way to incorporate him into our onboarding and tutorials and walking you through the process. So green is probably a good color for the lines, Tom, because that'll fit well with our turtley vibe.
With our snapper.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm excited.
So this was going to be just a logo for the tool, or was it kind of the idea that you guys talked about with like the Microsoft Word, the paperclip, like Snapper would kind of be like your onboarding tutorial guide on how to use the tool? Is that? I know you guys had discussed that.
Yeah, I know Luigi brought it up, and it made me really excited because I miss Clippy. Even though he wasn't always the most actually helpful, it was just nice to have a little character talking to you while you're doing something. So I think, like, yeah, ideally it'd be great if there's a way to incorporate him into the onboarding and, give the app some of its own voice and characteristics as opposed to just a omniscient instruction manual telling you everything you need to know. But that's probably, not an MVP requirement to give him a personality and the ability to interact right away, but definitely down the road, it's something I'd like to see.
Maybe if you click on it, little console log pops up.
Yeah. Or he hides in his shell. Okay. Well, I think we have a pretty light one today. I was just super excited to see what we've come up with. And now that we've seen it, I feel like, I've got a better understanding of what the finished product will look like, so I can do even more work on getting text ready for an app exchange listing and start making up a web page for it. I should add those as to-dos also. It's just the extra marketing collateral we'll need and like a place for it to live online. So I'll add those as well. Does anyone else have anything that they think we might have missed that should be in progress right now? Or
So it looks like in progress for the continued build out, we have the cog, or like the edit pencil, whatnot, on the right hand side to enter and see more details about a map field. So I guess I'll work on continuing the build out and can probably demo that for next week. In addition to, I guess I'll be looking over the to-do list as well to see what else we can incorporate if we have time into the MVP. Because I know some of the other features in the to-do are some are pretty basic, and we might be able to implement them if we have time. So
awesome. Should someone give you some test data so we can show like with real data on our next call?
Sure. You can. Yeah, we can go ahead and get that test data, and so next week we'll have like a more built out representation of what it will look like. That would work. Thanks, Tracy.
Okay.
Okay, so I will go ahead and add that. Tracy, is that something that you're going to be able to provide?
Yes, I will.
Awesome.
It's fun watching you type. Just kidding.
It is interesting how much my typing ability suffers when
When you're being watched.
it's observed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting, so Tracy, is this the kind of thing that normally you would do with a client like on the phone, or would you send them the spreadsheet and ask them to do it on their own?
Normally we do it without. We get like a spreadsheet from them of their stuff, and then we do it by ourselves. So, but I think that we can now probably do it just with the client. So I think it's going to take a step out of the process, which is great.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. It would be interesting if we could do a side-by-side like speed test where you know someone's doing it in a spreadsheet or some very manual process, and then we're using the snapper on the other side to show how much faster it is.
We can definitely do that very easily.
Yeah. I think that'll really win over the team too. Like, you know, it's hard to get people to use new tools, but if we show them how much faster it is, I think that people will switch very quickly.
Yeah, I think people are going to be pretty psyched about this. Like, that's a really like long, boring process to do the other way. So
yeah,
definitely get some wins out of this.
Cool.
So did you say that this was something you do on the phone with the client? I missed the response there.
No, normally we get like a spreadsheet and then we do it ourselves. So we have to figure out what that new process is going to look like. If we can have the client do it themselves or with them, I mean, we can definitely investigate the best way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other nice thing is with a spreadsheet, there's always a chance of a typo or you know, someone copy pastes in the wrong spot. And although you could still drag in the wrong spot here, there's no chance for a typo. And so we'll know for sure. And you know, like we were talking about earlier with the multiple fields, you know, phone, mobile phone, work phone. If someone mistypes it and it looks very close to another field, then it's like, you know, there could cause some confusion or someone might make a mistake. And so this way, we'll at least know that our data is 100% accurate.
Exciting.
Cool. Well, I think we have our next steps. I think we have a lot of progress here. I don't think we need to stretch this out to go an hour because we all have work to do. And but like, I really appreciate all the time and effort you guys are putting into this. I think it's a really cool glimpse at how stuff like this comes together and all of the different moving pieces and what it takes to like manage a project like that and keep everything moving smoothly. So I feel like we can wrap this up and then pick it up next week and put the final pieces of our MVP together and then, you know, roll it out and be proud of what we've accomplished.
Yay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks again for you guys joining. Thanks, folks, for watching. If you guys want to say anything else before we say goodbye, now would be the time to do it.
Bye.
Nope. Have a great weekend.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.